Hi, I'm Tony Licantro from Alto Capital, and I'm joined today by the CEO of Nyrada, James Bonner. And just to disclose, I have personal holdings and my clients have shareholdings in Nyrada. So great to be with you, James.
Yeah, nice to get to speak with you again, Tony. I hope you're well.
Yeah, well, as we head into Christmas, I think those in the biotech industry would be looking forward to the end of this year, because it's just been a brutal 12 months and change for those in the biotech sector. And there's been a lot of companies that have put out progress in relation to their programs, but the market has just been so disinterested. And I think it's affected a lot of share prices, and it certainly affected Nyrada's. But how are you seeing the market?
Well, it certainly has been a challenging 12 months, Tony. But I think in terms of Nyrada, nothing's really changed for us. The objectives for the company remain the same. The value proposition for our two lead programs remain the same. So we're focusing on what we can control, and we're entering an exciting phase of the company's development. So we're really focused on what we can achieve in 2023. But I guess 2022 has been a good year in a lot of ways. We've built a solid foundation for our two programs, and we're about to enter into our preclinical studies ahead of getting into the clinic, which is really exciting for us. So at this stage of the year, we're focused on the next 12 months and what that holds.
With Christmas coming up, I guess with healthy eating thrown out the window, there is going to be a focus on, no doubt, on cholesterol levels next year. And I know that we all let go a little bit. But I have noted in your recent reports and your quarterly that you've actually made some changes to your cholesterol lowering program for the phase 1 study. And if you could explain what are these changes, and more importantly for investors, James, why? Because it did seem to be quite a pivotal move.
Sure. Well, what we've been looking to do, Tony, is identify ways that we could accelerate the path through the clinic. And typically a first in human study or a phase 1 study would be conducted in healthy volunteers, and that's the way the phase 1 study was originally conceived. But recently we had a rethink on that, and we've decided to include high cholesterol patients in that study. So effectively it makes it like a phase 1/2A study. And what we'll be doing is we'll have patients who have high cholesterol, who aren't taking statin medication, and also patients who are taking statin medication. So we'll have two groups in the study. And what that'll enable us to do is not only identify or confirm safety and tolerability of the drug, but we'll also be able to determine whether the drug is safe and working as it should in terms of lowering cholesterol in the target patient population. And the second part to the answer, why are we doing this? We believe that with this approach, we really negate the need to do a phase 2A or an early phase 2 study. And there's not only a significant cost saving in doing that, several $1 million, but more importantly, there's a significant time saving. So we believe that taking this approach with a modified protocol will enable us to save up to 12 months in the clinical development timeline. And that's a very attractive proposition for us in terms of adding to the value of the program and getting to the point where we can get into later stage phase 2 studies, larger studies in the target population much sooner.
So you have had some delays with the manufacturing process at Shanghai. How is the drug manufacturing progressing?
So we did have some delays. We were able to get beyond that, and the situation is certainly looking much better with our manufacturing facility now. We've just recently completed the manufacture of our large-scale batch. This is the batch that we're going to use in the safety and toxicology studies and also in the clinic. And that's gone really well. The chemists have done a fantastic job. We've managed to achieve a 50% yield more than we anticipated. So, that's through some good work from the chemistry team. And it's a high purity material. So that material now will be used in the studies I mentioned, and they will be run predominantly in the US, with the phase 1 study being run here in Australia. So we are lowering our exposure to China, and we certainly understand the concerns around the geopolitical situation and so on. So that risk is diminishing as we move forward into the clinic for sure.
So COVID risks aside, when would you be looking at getting this phase 1 study underway in the clinic?
So we've committed to getting the study underway in the first half of next year. Before we undertake the phase 1 study, we need to complete a battery of safety and toxicology studies, and they're underway now, and they'll run through the balance of the rest of the year and through Q1 next year. And what we're looking to do is, a rapid transition into that phase 1 study. So we're looking to get that underway as soon as possible. But as we said to the market, first half of next year. And that's not only for the cholesterol program, that's also for the brain injury program as well.
So what is the brief process of these toxicology studies you're conducting prior to phase 1?
So because this drug has never been tried in a human before, there's a standard battery of tests that you need to run through, and some of those are petri dish type tests to look for things like genotoxicity. Is the drug genotoxic or carcinogenic? And then what you need to do then is you need to test the drug for tolerability and toxicology into animal species. And what the purpose of those studies are is to really set the starting dose for the phase 1 study. So that's the purpose of those studies. Everybody has to do them, and they're underway.
So once we get into phase 1, when would you expect a readout, and would the safety profile be the most important readout prior to knowing if this drug is effective?
So the way the phase 1 study works, we're doing a single ascending dose design for part A of the study. So there'll be 6 groups of patients, and the first group will get a low dose, and we'll see how they tolerate that. Then the dose will be incrementally increased through those 6 cohorts. And that's a relatively quick and straightforward process, because the patients are only getting a single dose, or the subjects. Part B of the study is where we'll be dosing the patients with high cholesterol and those patients who are on statins. They'll be dosed for a longer period, for 14 days. So we'll get regular readouts as those cohorts are dosed and progress through the study, and we'll be reporting on the results to the market. Obviously, with a phase 1 study, the primary outcome measures are around safety and tolerability. We're also looking at how the drug is processed, so pharmacokinetics of the drug in those patients. But the second part of the study, where we're dosing high cholesterol patients, we'll be looking to determine an efficacy readout. So we'll be looking to measure total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, and there are some other biomarkers we're going to look at as well. So we'll get a very good early read on whether the drug is working as we anticipate it will.
So with these drugs, there's 2 magical words in the biotech industry, James, and that's critical endpoint. So are you going to establish critical endpoints prior to the study, or as you get readouts?
Oh, well, we'll be measuring cholesterol, so we'll get a direct readout of cholesterol. And the other thing I'll point out about the study too is it's a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled study. And that's a bit of a mouthful, but what that means is that some patients will be receiving placebo without drug in it. And so that'll enable us to do a direct comparison between the patients who are taking the drug, so we can get an accurate and reliable read on the effect of the drug, the magnitude of its effect in lowering cholesterol.
Yeah, I guess it's a case of as long as they maintain their lifestyles and they don't start their New Year's resolution early in the year, hit the gym or go on a low carb diet. But yeah, I guess it's a massive issue in health, and I just think that investors might like to appreciate why we're in Nyrada in the first place. And I think you've had a massive headwinds in this biotech market, and we're finally, after delays which are out of your control, I think we're in for an exciting time. And I guess if the drug is safe, and then we've got to look at how it can assist with cholesterol. But I think it's such a huge issue that we should pay a lot more attention with Nyrada early next year.
Yeah, well, it's worth pointing out that the fundamentals haven't changed. We set out at the outset to develop a small molecule cholesterol lowering drug. Working on the PCSK9 protein is the target. The alternatives to the approach we're taking are injectable drugs, which we know are not only expensive, but there's poor patient compliance. So, the value proposition remains the same. And we're looking forward to taking this drug forward. And, we believe it's a high value asset. And, we're certainly getting a lot of interest from, the investment community and researchers in the program.
Yeah. So you're obviously in this volatile environment, cash in the bank is paramount. How's your cash position looking at the end of the last quarter?
So at the end of the last quarter, we had just shy of 9.9 million Australian dollars. And that was topped up subsequent to that by 1.3 million Australian dollars in an R&D tax rebate. So we're in a fortunate position that we've got plenty of cash in the bank to pursue our near to medium term objectives, and that includes getting into these phase 1 studies in 2023. So yeah, we're in a good position.
Oh, sensational, James. Okay, the prosecution rests.
Well, nice speaking with you, Tony, and all the best for the holiday period, and looking forward to putting out some good data and generating some prosperity in 2023.
Yeah, look forward to it, James. Thank you.
Take care, Tony. Thanks for that.